Hey guys. Oh, as soon as I start talking, he perks up like, what's that? What's he talking to? Yeah. Well, anyway, wanted to talk about something, but I'm also busy working on a private commission for a friend. So I just don't, wanted to try and get some work on it done, but I still wanted to, you know, talk, share my thoughts and whatnot. So I'm pretty sure it was yesterday or today, but a new show came out on Netflix called The Dragon Prince. I just got done watching the first episode while I had dinner, and it was really good. Not the food, I mean the show. Yeah. Um, it seems it's directed by the same guys who did Avatar The Last Airbender. Hopefully, they'll have learned from their mistake. Well, their many mistakes. It. What? What? I love you too. Anyway, hopefully they'll learn from their many mistakes in Korra, particularly with pacing and, you know, uh, well, storytelling in general. I mean, it was done amazingly in The Last Airbender, but the story felt rushed in Korra. But that's a whole nother discussion for another time. You know, I. But from the first, oh yeah, and of course they did Voltron, but then again, that also has a whole bunch of problems when it comes to its pacing and storytelling elements. Again, another time. Sorry, I keep getting a little off topic here. Anyway, yeah. So it's by those guys. It has the voice of Sokka is one of the main characters. It's a fantasy this time. But wait, well, technically Voltron was a sci-fi and fantasy mix together, and Avatar. Yeah, it did have a lot of fantasy elements to it, but it also kind of felt. Well, let me put it this way: it's high fantasy this time. You got elves, you got dragons, you got magic, so it's high fantasy. Yeah. But anyway, first episode, it's pretty good. Though I noticed one thing, and the one thing kind of gets to me. Uh, the CGI was fairly blatant. You know, I could tell exactly, what objects were CGI, what scenes relied upon CGI heavily, etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying CGI use is a bad thing, far from it. If you're able to use CGI in an effective way that not only showcases uh, your skill with it, but also allows you to, I don't want to say fulfill, but create effects that enrich the setting and storytelling because you are now able to produce what you wanted easier. Like, I've seen several tutorials on how to do a lightning bolt in CGI and to have it, generate random sparks and this, that, and the other stuff. But to do that hand drawn, frame by frame, that's going to take a lot of time. So if you can use CGI for that thunderbolt and then put a particle filter or a stylization filter over it so that it looks in the same, well, not really hand drawn, but the same animation style as the rest of it. Good job. I'm not going to fault you for using shorthand. Okay? But I'm just saying I was able to pick out, where it is. Now, part of it is cuz I've spent so much time watching and absorbing media content that has CGI placed with animation. And I'm not just talking anime. I'm talking anime along with Western cartoons, and I got my degree in uh, animation and video editing, which is why I'm job. No, I didn't. But anyway, so yeah, so the CGI was fairly obvious, and while it was obvious, it was also well done. But also at the same time, I I noticed something else. So this past Tuesday, episode 11 of Overlord season 3 came out, and I I enjoyed it. If you aren't watching Overlord, I would definitely recommend doing so. Uh, I made a video about the ethics and morality around Eins Ulgong. There, pretty sure I said that right. Eins Ulgong. Goon. Anyway, uh, oh, um, a YouTuber by the name of Ananews has been doing a kind of deep dive explanation about all the different characters, the world building, and he's using not only the anime but the light novels and all other information that he can obtain about the sources. And he recently put out a video explaining Demiurge, uh, and how his character is built and why he acts as such. And it that is a perfect example of what I was talking about. Of it isn't necessarily Eins's own perspective, or morality, you know. And time and again, you're seeing Eins being kind of, oh, okay, and the thing's just going over his head. He doesn't, he doesn't quite catch on, when they're talking about, uh, he found Demiurge found a race of bipedal sheep. Yes. But anyway, um, yeah. So, shout out to him. He does very good, detailed work, and I think that plays in exactly to what I was talking about. But anyway, uh, so to save time as well as budget, because God knows those guys are pushed to the limit, churning out a new episode every week. And from my understanding, they aren't paid until after the series is complete. The sales of the Blu-rays and the merchandising. Enter a picture of yogurt from Spaceballs. Merchandising, merchandising, merchandising. Spaceballs the cereal. Spaceballs the comic book. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Kids love this. But anyway, yeah. So they don't really get paid until after it's all said and done. So if they can use a technique that allows them to shortcut without really subtracting, I'm all for it. But one of the things I've seen a lot of, and especially with this latest episode, because it uses a lot of this, but I'm seeing a lot of people being like, "Oh, it has such bad CGI. It's ho hum CGI," and I just want to look at these people and go, "You're fucking spoiled, okay?" And you can't. I feel that they have a hard time appreciating it because simply because we're in a day and age when CGI is mass produced. It's used in just about everything, from video games to movies to TV shows, you name it. You know, computer graph images, CGI, it's all around us. But I just think that because of the level of quality that everyone is, or I shouldn't say is, but expects to be because of, you know, all the CGI that is out there. You know, they expect all the CGI to be mind-blowingly good. You know? And that's just not possible. You're not going to get, like, think back to Moana. The texture of the water, the texture on the clothing, the texture on the the freaking grass, you know, the same and the same, you know, the same with Rapunzel and Frozen. I may not like Frozen. I mean, if it hadn't exploded and drowned out everybody culturally for several years. I mean, hell, it's still being talked about today. You know, the marketing is still going strong. Oh my god, you cannot go anywhere without seeing Frozen in some aspect as far as uh, stores. Okay? Because that shit sells. But, you know, I may not like it because of that, but I respect those artists because those are some amazing, detailed environments. I mean, oh my god. The Have you seen the rugs and the drapes? I mean, we're talking, and of course, the better resolution screen you have, the better it looks, obviously. Uh, but damn. Yeah, so I think that because we as a people have been exposed to such high levels of quality over the past several years, a lot of us, especially younger folks who haven't grown up with the changes, you know, I think, you know, they're so used to one thing that sometimes they aren't able to fully appreciate, and they just immediately write stuff off as being bad. And this kind of extends to older works as well. Like, oh my god, look at that, it says such horrible CGI. Well, not necessarily. Compared to the modern day standards, it may be subpar. You know, it may look like something a college student put out on their own, which I've seen plenty of, though not all of it's bad. Some of it's bad, not all of it. But anyway, um, like just look at Reboot and Beast Wars. I love those shows. Uh, if you can't tell from, you know, my username, Mecha-Nick or Mechanic, whichever way you want to say it, and, you know, some of the stuff I have here, I love giant robots, so Beast Wars isn't obvious. And I grew up watching both it and Reboot, and they are the first two fully CGI shows. And compared to today, yeah, they're not that great. But at the time, top tier animation. I mean, we're talking some of the best CGI animation you could get. Maybe not at first, but definitely by, you know, the time that they found their stride, that they found that, you know, their strengths, their weaknesses, and learned to work with and around them, it's great. And part of what makes it great, you know, is that even if it does have, you know, bad CGI compared to today's standards, it still has great story, great characters, okay, that get you emotionally involved and leave you wanting to watch more. And I think Overlord does that greatly. But of course, you know, all the people just kind of dismissing the, you know, the oh, it's bad CGI. No, no, that's not bad CGI. You want to watch bad CGI? Go watch. Oh God, I can't even think of it. But the Cinema Snob's done a couple episodes on knockoff movies of Cars and Transformers. That's bad CGI. That is horrendous CGI that you should never, ever willingly subject yourself to unless it is in a review format. So I'll try and dig up the links and put those in the description down below. But that is pure horribleness, okay? Ooh. But yeah. So I guess that's that kind of rant. um, but yeah, I think that, you know, I think once you can get past the emotional bit and you can look at the composition of a piece of art, you know, what makes it up, what are the elements, and you can just look past the, you know, some of the things, like it doesn't have top of the line, you know, great capacity or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling a little bit, so I don't have my words all in a row. But yeah, um, it's nowhere near as bad as it could be. Uh, cut them some slack. And if you look at it from a bit more of an objective point, it helps build the world. I mean, just damn. It's good. Now, I mean, there is, and again, there is truly horrible CGI stuff out there. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying look at some of the stuff that you may call bad in a bit more context. Um, and yeah, if you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to show you what I'm working on, but if you would like to get something drawn or whatnot, uh, let me know. And hopefully I'll see you guys again. Have a good one.